to another exciting episode of the $1 Million Peddlers. I'm Papergoy, and it's another Sunday. A little bit chilly out here today. We got two flea markets to head off to. Should be a lot of fun. We got the one right downtown. It was really rocking last week. I expect fewer people there this week, mainly because the other flea market opened, so a lot of people will probably set up down there instead. But between the two flea markets, there should be a fair number of people. Should have the GoPro working today. Gonna be wearing this. I'll be looking really cool with that there. So should be able to get some nice up close views of the various tables. So we're gonna jockey the cars around right now and head on out in momentarily. And here we are at the flea market. Definitely want to start this all off by telling you this is the first try with the GoPro. There are a few times you see the inside of my jacket, a few times you see my hand coming up and closing it off. Turning it off. So just letting you know. This stand, everything, this is Dollar Dan. We've seen him before featured. I probably should have bought the Dune storybooks. I was thinking about buying the National Lampoons. Did not buy either of them. Like I said, they're $1 a piece. He doesn't do a deal because his prices are so low to start with. I was on the fence about it, but they're kind of slow sellers. I did find a couple of things that you'll see tomorrow, and I'll explain why I bought them. And there's the hand. Talk to the hand. This gentleman over here, we got a couple of things coming up over here. Now, these you do want to pick up, the hardcover Sports Illustrated. These other ones are sucker bets all day long. They're the coffee table books that end up selling for about $5 at most a piece. You would think that they would be better than that. They're actually not. I am sensing a sports theme today. This was another local dealer, Danny. Everybody knows Danny. He's been setting up at the public market for, longer than I've been dealing. He's been setting up down there. He knows I do magazines. He saw me looking through this, so he ends up coming on over and talking to me. And there he is. He's telling me the deal. And spoiler alert, I ended up buying it. He ended up giving me a really good deal on the stuff. I flashed a gang sign at him, apparently. I don't know what I just did there. This dealer, I'd like to give a little bit of a hint to dealers out there. Put prices on stuff. He had some books, had a couple of things that were okay, but nothing outstanding. But he did have prices in there, but I heard him telling somebody else, kind of ignore the prices. But when you see a book like this and it had like $8 in it, stuff like that, just not worth my time to sit there and ask him what something like that costs, because he's not going to be charging $1, which is what I want to pay on something or other like this. But he had some neat little things, but nothing that I absolutely needed. But that was about all I ended up getting at the sale. Were a couple of things over there, which again I'll talk about tomorrow. But as I spoiled it already, we did end up buying the Sports Illustrated. They're not hot by any means whatsoever, but they've got good covers on them and they do sell. You're earning your money when you buy things like this, but sometimes you got to earn your money, I guess is what I'm saying. They're not, they don't fly off the shelf for incredible amounts of money, but they do sell. Now over here, I did notice I've almost got, like, nothing against people that truly have it, but I've almost got ADD while I'm shopping, because I look, and if you watch throughout the video, I'm very herky-jerky, that I'm looking at one thing and suddenly something else catches my eye as I'm pulling things up, and I'm like, oh, what was that? What was that? Now, I did not buy the Snow White that I had picked up just a couple of seconds ago. Anybody out there, if you could let me know whether I should have bought that or not. Now, here's something else that I should have asked him what he wanted, were those Hot Rod magazines, which we all know my love of Hot Rod magazines. But the main reason I should have asked about them was because they came in the binders that would hold the magazines. Little insider tip, the binders a lot of times are better than the magazines themselves. They were available only through the company. So they've got some value. There I was there grabbing the picture. I'm looking at sports cards, so you never know what might catch my attention there. Oh, shiny, something shiny. Ended up not buying any of these cards from the gentleman. I do have the program in my hand that I'll tell you what that is tomorrow in the video. But, and again, great view of my jacket there. But you can tell even by the one row of the 9, you're not missing anything by missing the other 2 rows. I didn't even make him an offer. I didn't know what the heck was in there. Kind of going through over here. I've never purchased from this gentleman before, but I just kind of wanted to show you a little cameo there by Random Neighborhood Kid. Wanted to show you a little bit about the kind of things that are out there. Now, probably all the toy people watching this, the beer tray people watching this are all saying, you should have bought that, you should have asked about that. And again, that is the great fun of the flea markets, is I could source with nearly anybody. and I'd be buying something different from them. I did look at that skateboard over there, did not buy it because of the oversized situation with the post office. Should have probably bought some great vegetables and fruits. Always good for you. We all need to eat more fruits and vegetables. Now this stand over there, they had listed for $1 a piece. And I saw these over there. The problem on them, as you can see, is they do have some bug chews on some of them. And some of them, they obviously were rescued out of a basement, which you can tell by there's stains on a couple of them, some heavy waviness on them. I believe that one had the cover, or that was just a cover, and so on. So I cherry-picked, as it were, the magazines over there. On that stuff over there, Life magazine, stuff like that, I'm just going to leave behind. But some nice old stuff that definitely got rescued from a barn and ended up paying $1 a piece on them. I did do a quick look, as you see, through the sheet music. Just a quick one to see if I saw anything in there that's great. I don't know enough about sheet music to go through each piece and say, oh, that's a $30 piece, that's a $20 piece. So at this point with sheet music, I just do a quick look to see what's good. Pennsylvania Game News, stay away from. Air transportation, obviously you take that, given that went in Papergoy's pile there. That one, the precision shooting, I would have taken, except it had heavy duty waviness on it, heavy damage on it. And I just said, look, it's not a great magazine to start with. For $1, I can make some money because of the age of it, but not with that damage on it. Now, here's one thing that, well, there I am with the ADD again. One thing that I always worry about, and I've noticed other people doing it as well. As you had seen, I had that pile of magazines. I just put them down, but I'm hovering over them right now like a mother hen. I'm making sure nobody else is around, that nobody else can grab it or anything at all like that. Because if it's not in your hand, it is technically fair game. I mean, yes, they are mine, and if somebody, grabbed them, I'd say, hey, I'm buying those. But at this point, I haven't, no sale has transferred title over to me, so somebody else could go and grab them. So I'm always very, very careful about making sure that if anybody is around, I pick them up. Wish I could cue the theme from Jaws here as I'm coming in on these comic books. Dun 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 dun. Wait, that's the Pink Panther theme. Wrong theme. But anyway, yeah, I'm really musically inclined. They never had this area before. This is an area to protect it from the weather. They went and did this, and I don't believe I've ever purchased anything from underneath these. They've got about 3 or 4 of these patios. They tend to get the same dealers who are real dealers as opposed to the people that set up elsewhere. I don't want to say fly by night because they're not fly by night. Sometimes you see the same people every week, but you're more able to get a deal from out there. Now, this person over here had these comic books, $2 a piece, and I've bought from them before, and they're very, very difficult to deal with. It was pulling teeth the one time I found 3 items I wanted, and to get $5 for the 3 of them was like pulling teeth. So it's got to be really good stuff for me even to take a second look at the stuff. Now, the Dick Tracy comics are not really good things, so they kind of went back. But again, you always look. You never know. I mean, obviously, if I can find a $25 to $50 book in there for $2, then I'm going to buy it. But just really nothing worthwhile. But that's where going to the same sale year after year, you tend to know, yeah, this person deals, this person doesn't deal. So you definitely want to know that. Remember your dealers. And the other nice thing about these things is a lot of times the people set up in exactly the same spot. So you tend to know, okay, the person over there is a good dealer as far as for what I deal in. That person over there is tough to deal with, and so on. I just wanted to kind of give you a little bit of a panorama here of some of the stuff here. Really nothing in this area for the last several years, just because there was the one dealer that used to set up there passed away. And I think one time I found some other dealer that set up in there. Otherwise, that's kind of just a walkthrough area. You just look just in case. Another comic dealer that did not have prices on them. I'm expecting things were $1 a piece, but they had nothing marked on them, and we were running behind because I had something that I had to do. I had to be home at a certain time, so I wasn't going to sit there and go through every comic book, especially when I didn't know the price. And so I just did the quick look. Now, obviously, if something jumped out at me that was a $50 comic, I'd say, hey, how much are they? And I would start making a pile. which I do in a moment at yet another stand, spoiler alert. Now, this dealer over here I have dealt with forever, and he said, hey, comic books are 50 cents a piece, and I've already got a small pile of them. I know that I can make some money on everything that I purchased off of them. Nothing outstanding, but some neat comic books in there for 50 cents. Picked up a couple of things for myself. Picked up a couple of things for Mr. Magazine. He collects Batman, Spider-Man, and Star Wars, and there were a couple of Star Wars comics in there that I had never seen before. So I picked those up to trade off to him as well. So, that price, you couldn't go wrong, and I kind of was going through anything catching my eye. I was throwing there on a pile. Unfortunately, I had to go fairly quickly because, again, this was right near the end of the day, and we had to get going. But, hopefully you liked the video. Do hit the like button if you could. Tomorrow we do the deep dive into the things that I bought and why I bought them. Sorry about the herky-jerky from time to time and my hand coming up all the time. Going to work on that. Going to learn how to use the GoPro, and I am fairly sure I will see you next video. Ooh.